And I'll let everybody in now. You want to share your screen and go to it, have the product up?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah, it looks great.
Cool.
Thank you so much, by the way. I can't tell you enough how much.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, I do think we should, I don't know who wrote those other modules, but I do think there might be something in, putting some materials through this, like a module or whatever for this, if this
Yeah.
becomes a thing. So, yeah.
Yes, I'm gonna talk to my person who does the other stuff and see what we can do.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds
She is a student who has an internship this summer, so she's not as available.
That's understandable.
But she is looking for something to do. So when I get off the phone here, I'm going to send her a note.
Yeah, yeah. I just think it might be a good idea to set
Yeah, I
something
agree.
up. Yeah, because it'll just add, more opportunity for them to understand the product.
Yeah, and I work with her, and so yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me let them in.
Sure.
Hello, William. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. Nice to see you, or at least to be with you today. I appreciate your interest in this, and Ramona and I are excited to train your students. So,
Hello, Ramona. Hey, I am going to, there were a couple students that were trying to get in and maybe they had a weird link or whatever. So I'm going to essentially tell them to drop out and try to reconnect. So just give me one more second.
Sure.
And we're recording as well.
Great. Be right back. All righty. We should have a couple more people joining us then.
Terrific. Should we wait a minute?
You're recording. Let's go with it. They're ready. So they'll be here in just a second.
Good. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to turn it over to Ramona to train you in TractIQ. It's a tool that you can use to analyze business patterns and help with capstone classes. So I'm going to turn it over to Ramona and let her start.
Great. And Ramona, while we're doing this, just to let you know, I mean, this group is kind of a test run for us, right? TractIQ looks really cool, and we're trying to figure out how best to use it.
Yes.
Specifically, we are working on a consulting project about a multi-purpose equine facility in Bossier City, Louisiana, for feasibility studies. So if I don't know what you had planned, but I'm pretty sure we can spend hours looking through this cool stuff.
Yeah,
Just so you
no,
know that's where we're focused for immediacy purposes.
no, that's always great to know, because the platform, as Jeff said, it's pretty robust. There is a good deal of data available, and so it's always nice for me to get an understanding of how you are interested in using it, and what kind of answers you're looking to get.
Sure.
What kind of questions you have. So that helps me a lot. I think what I'll start with is just sort of give you kind of a Reader's Digest of the dashboard, so you can just sort of navigate how the platform is set up. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the dashboard, and this Zoom thing is annoying me a little bit. But so this is the dashboard, and the way the dashboard is set up, this central area, this area analysis is essentially a shortcut feature that we developed to help professionals just sort of plug in an address. If you have an address of interest that you're wanting to get some demographic and retail data on, so you can just simply plug in an address and it sort of shortcuts to a 1, 3, and 5 mile radius of the area, and then you can download reports of that area. So that's kind of what this area is. The jump to maps allow you to just jump straight into the mapping platform without an address, and you can kind of look at the US as a whole and sort of hover over and look at areas of interest. In that feature, we have we use the filter tool. You can use the filter tool to sort of look for areas that meet specifications that you have. So those are the two primary sort of use case access. That's what this is, the get started. I'll just show you, if you go to my projects, in that we have 3 columns: maps, reports, and profiles. And this is where you can save your map. So if you're looking at an area, you have an address, you've done some, you put some variables in, you want to save that to go back to, this is where it will be. If you save reports on certain area, whether it's a demographic report or whatever, you would be in this area. And then profiles, and I'll show you that. Those are generally the retail analysis of an area. So this is kind of your filing cabinet for things you want to save. So those are the primary things of the dashboard. We also have some maps that have growth projections in them. If you just want to go straight into a map that meets some of this, this is the filter area criteria tool, which we also have another access to, and I'll show you that in a minute. This allows you to create a specific report tailored to what your needs are. But honestly, our reports that we have established we've sort of curated for most business professionals are pretty much what are used. But that feature is there if you wanted to get into it and just sort of create your own tailored report. Okay. So that's pretty much the dashboard. Do you have an address of an area that you want to?
Absolutely, but before we drill down there, could you tell me the difference again between a report and a profile?
So a profile is going to give you information on, we have some profiles that we also have some graphic representations and on like retail gap analysis and retail leakage, things about retail areas in the area where the money's being spent. What the opportunities are in retail, in a retail analysis of real estate areas. And then a report could be a demographic report. It could be a report on the housing starts. So there, and you'll see as we get into it, what they visually look like inside the platform.
Cool. Okay. Yes, address is 5705 East Texas Street.
Bossier City.
Yep.
So when the address comes up, you just click on the address, and then that will, as you can see, your windows stay open. So that gives you access. I really don't like this little thing here. So
I use that thing too in address maps. I got rid of it.
Exactly. So so that takes you straight into the mapping platform when you put in an address. And if you look on the menu over here on the left, you're going to be able to see the address that you're in. If you collapse this part of the menu, you're going to be able to see that what you're looking at on the map is the population density, and you're looking at it by census tract. You can change those levels to zip code, whatever you like, but it will default to census tract. And so that's essentially what you come into when you're looking at this when you put the address in and it takes you straight into that shortcut setting, you're looking at the 1, 3, and 5 mile radius around that address. You can expand this menu here. So that's going to show you, you're looking at 1, 3, and 5 mile radius. You're looking at this address. If you wanted to, you could save this address, save to my places, and you just click save. And then move this over here. And you come over here. Let me just move this. I don't know how to get rid of this menu, the zoom menu, but if there is a icon here that's being covered up by this, that will show you a listing of these addresses so that you can just click on that. And there's also, there we go. Now we're getting somewhere. So now you see my places. So now you've got that address saved. And this is for, if you go back to a place, you're going to look at it over and again, you're really interested in that area. You don't have to, you just can go straight. Anytime you're on the map, you're doing something else, you want to click back and look at this address. It's right there for you.
Cool.
And this part of it also allows you to drop a pin and analyze a specific area, which when you're using a filter tool, that will come in handy. And I can show you that in a second. So again, we're looking at a 1, 3, and 5 mile radius. As you hover over each of the census tracts, you'll get the population density for that area. And I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And another thing that you're seeing here, these beige circles, these are the housing projects in the area, the construction projects. So these are areas that are under construction. In this case, it says it's a 550 unit project. So that tells you that it's multifamily. If it says homes, it'll tell you that it's a single family housing project. But there are a number of construction data that is available on you'll see it on the map. And I'll show you how you can include that report in your information. So if you come down over here on the lower right, this is the legend. I'll zoom in a little. And the legend is, for example, the housing starts. This is the construction data. The size of the bubble gives you a sense of whether it's small, medium, and large. You can click each of these individually to hide them, or you can just click here and get rid of them as a whole if you don't want that visual. And in addition to this legend, what you have here is you have school ranking systems. So you can see the schools in the area and what their rankings are. That turns on and off. I don't know if you're familiar with opportunity zones.
Tax incentives for developing stuff there, right?
That's correct. And so we have those boundaries highlighted in the mapping so that you can turn the if, for example, this area falls within an opportunity zone. And we also have the traffic flow data
Cool.
here. So you can turn any of these on. Did I show you the satellite? We also have the satellite view, so you can get a visual of the land itself. So those are the visuals that you have available in the mapping. Here, I'm going to turn that off and turn the housing starts back on. Also, auto adjust. What that does is if you click that, because you're narrowing your focus to a 1, 3, and 5 mile radius, that will auto adjust to that area so that you can see the contrast a little more easily.
Okay.
So
with
go ahead.
opportunity zones, how would you find out more about what the deal is with that opportunity zone? And what I mean by that is that, typically those are going to be state legislature type things, or city type things where the city has agreed to try to get this industry to move there with tax incentives. Is there anywhere where you would find data like that?
Yeah, it's my understanding that the opportunity zones are federal.
Yes.
So those are federal programs. And then once you recognize that, you're in an area with federal programs available.
They Then you can drill down.
then you can go and, you have the address and you can say this is located either within or near an opportunity zone. You could put your address there and it will get the information. But it's my understanding those are federal programs.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm. So, so now that you're looking at your area, you see sort of like where your incoming population, that's really the purpose of this housing as far as this, give you a sense of, development in the area, where's the incoming housing or the retail construction. So when you look at this, you sort of see what it looks like on the ground, but now you want to run a report. So you come over here to the left under create report. And what we have here are a number of our curated reports. We have a demographic report, a housing start report, which gives you information on those beige bubbles on the house, on the starts that are in the area. And this one falls within your 5-mile radius. So it's going to probably be the only one that's illustrated. You also have one that shows population change between 90 and 25. There is also a retail sales report, market profile indices that sort of give you a sense of what the market profile of the area, and also consumer expenditures.
That's huge. Okay. Now, consumer expenditures are a big thing for this group.
Okay,
right?
good. We'll run one of those reports.
Okay. And in terms of population changes, retail sales and stuff like that,
Mhm.
I'm assuming we could keep expanding the radius, right? Because this
absolutely.
facility is going to be for most people, it's going to be a drive-to destination, right? I mean, as interesting as 550 units are 5 miles from, those are not the people that are going to be spending money, doing training at the equine facility, right?
Yes.
So, but to see increases in population, retail expenditures, things like this within 30 miles, 45 miles, that would be amazing.
Okay, well then let me show you, let me address that. So we're going to cancel this because I want to return to something that I'm going to minimize this. So we're going to go back to this this menu here. Now we're looking at a 1, 3, and 5 mile circular radius.
Right.
You can change that radius up to 20 miles.
Gotcha.
That is your maximum value you can put in here for a circular radius. You can customize a circular radius. You could do any number. You can select up to 3 areas to get the data on. So you could just do one that's 20 miles, or you could do, any combination here and enter your own value up to 20. Now that's the circular
for 3
radius.
different areas. Oh, I see.
Right.
And we could do it by county or zip code as well, though. So
yeah, you can look at well, you're looking at the data behind you. Like right now, you're looking at census tract. You could change that to zip code if you wanted to. So we go down here to 5-digit zip codes. So now your data, you're looking at a zip code. This zip code has this population density. I'm going to auto adjust that. Now you can see the differentials in that area. So this is your higher density populations. And then if you want to, say you want to not look at a circular radius, you want to look at a drive time. There are different areas where, a radius analysis is ideal. We find a lot of rural or other areas that drive time is more important. So with the drive time, you can look at 5 mile, 15 mile, 5 minute, 15 minute. These are drive times. Awesome. So what's an hour outside of where you are? So those are, and now you've really expanded your area.
Yeah, that's huge.
Auto adjust that. So you say, oftentimes with drive time, it's 5, maybe 5, 10, 20, or 30. Like I would say, I'd take off 60 and just say 30. So now you're looking at 5 minute, 15 minute, and 30 minute drive time. Then I would auto adjust to get a better sense of how that looks on the map and that with that area. So now you've got a drive time analysis.
That's great because outside of, Bossier and Shreveport itself, most of the area is going to be far more rural. And we're essentially looking at demographics, expenditures, retail opportunities, et cetera, given essentially similar facilities in Tyler, Texas, in Arkansas, in Monroe. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
where we are, it's not a zero-sum game. It's not a competition per se, but we need to know what, to the extent we can, what is within, say, 90 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Let's see what your maximum value here is 60 minutes on your drive time usually.
okay. Yeah,
So-
and that's fine, because we could just move, we could do this for Bossier City, ladies and gentlemen in the audience, and then we could do the same thing for Longview, for Tyler, for El Dorado, for Little Rock, for depending on how deep you want to get.
That's correct. And you're going to get, a lot more data depending on how far out you go.
Right,
too.
sure.
So you're covering more geography, you'll have larger reports. So for the purpose of this, I think I'm going to do 5 and 15 minutes just for loading, unless you
Sure,
want to do
yeah.
30 minutes in
Nope,
there.
nope, we'll play with
My
it.
main concern is that when I do the Zoom recordings, everything runs a little slower. It's not really true. I mean, it's not the way it runs in this platform, but with Zoom recording, it kind of, everything has to think it through. So let's say for this example, I think that's a great example. Oh, we'll do a drive time analysis. We're looking at 5-minute and 15-minute drive time. Your location is plotted. You're including your housing starts. So we go back down here to create report. Now you can also, like we're looking at zip code level right now. If you're looking at the demographic report, you're already looking at the zip code. Maybe, you want to compare that to the county as a whole, or to Shreveport, your local MSA. So we can in that report, we can include comparison data that is upward geography. So you're at zip code now, you want to look at how that looks against the city, how that looks against the county. Those columns will be included in your demographic report. This is your data for this drive time area, and how does that compare to the county and the MSA as a whole. So let's do a demographic report first, just to show you what that looks like, so you can get a feel for the demographics. So we do create report, and this is going to take you into another window, which is our report platform. And this essentially, so now you're looking at your 5-minute, 15-minute. It's comparing it to Shreveport, Bossier City, and the county. Yeah. So this report will give you, you're looking at population, household, family, income. These are all census data broken down by variables that are most often requested. You can edit these reports if you want and save it as something else. You could even save it as a template if you have something different, but we find most people just everything that they're looking for are usually in these reports. It includes housing structure. So you have information on the housing structure. I think there's also drive to work, any drive times in here. So this is a comprehensive demographic report on that geography you've chosen and its upward comparisons. You can download this as an Excel. You can also download it as a CSV in case you need to use this data in some other platform, some other software program. You can also download it as a PDF, just as a nice report. You can click here and copy this link and share this report in an email or a Word document with anyone, and they will be able to, when they click that link, they'll come into this type of a report. They'll come into the platform looking at the report the way you see it. They won't need a login. They won't need a subscription. They won't be able to manipulate the data or do anything else, with that, but they will be able to see what you're seeing here. And then this gives you the data dictionary and the documentation on where this data is coming from. So that's what you have when you run this report. And so let's say you're going to save this report. Let's say you want to save this report. Generally, what I would do is I would just put the address and I would make sure that, I note that it's a demographic report.
Mhm.
And then maybe I would say 15-minute radius with MSA and county comparisons. Just,
Nice.
so if you save that, and anytime you want to go back to your dashboard, our logo, you click that on the left. I mean, you also have the window open, but if you're somewhere and you just want to click that, it'll take you back to the dashboard. You go to my projects and, oh, did I say that? Maybe I didn't say that. Let me see. Oh, there it is. No, wait. Oh, it's a report. That's one. 5705 East Texas Street, Bossier City. There's your demographic report. And again, this icon allows you to share that report. You can also edit the title, the description. You could duplicate it if you want to go use that as a base and do something else. Maybe you want to take some of the data out of it, or you can remove it entirely. So that's how you save, into your archives.
What's a data snack?
What do you say? Oh, these data snacks. These are things that we've done with our. They come primarily from our blog. They're
Mhm.
information on. They're basically things on like median growth. I mean, these are informative information that's backed by data.
Gotcha.
Like
So,
where are the most vacant homes located in the U.S. Things like that.
now, when you create a report like that and you
Mhm.
share it,
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming there's a geolocation or geographic searchable thing that you could also share with people who don't have a subscription. Like,
You're talking
'cause
about
what-
the map itself?
yeah, because what we're
Yes.
gonna do
Yes.
when we present to the clients live, it would be very cool to be able to pull up these things and
Mhm.
highlight things live.
Yeah.
But we'd also want to print that material, at least digitally, for their actual report.
Yes, that's why we have this share is generally we created that really for the purpose of presentations. So
Okay.
that when you are using this, you can say, okay, you just go, or I mean, if you're in the presentation, you'll be in the platform,
Right.
but you can also send it to folks. And so like if you're sharing it, you copy this link, they'll get that in an email. And if they, so that they can see it later, if they want to look at the map, they want to look at the report,
Right.
when they go. Now that you can do the same thing for the maps. So you can share your reports. And again, you can print them. You can, here's the printing is the PDF. So if you click the PDF and you can do that, you get to do download or you can do portrait or landscape. And then you will get a nice, tidy
Yeah.
printed report
Uh,
that can be shared.
if we were to share a map with, various
Mhm.
data embedded,
Yes.
when we share it, is that something that that they could explore, like a user could explore?
So
Or is it
if you,
static?
yes, right. It's dynamic, but they can't manipulate the data. So they can do essentially like, so if you're in the map, so first of all, I'll just show you, we're going to save the map.
Mhm.
So you can save the map. I can't remember that address. I don't see it here because of all.
That's right. Just say the Downs 15-minute drive. Yep, perfect.
So if you save that, now you've saved the map, you go back to your projects. Now you have your map. And again, you can share that with the link. Now, when they get the link, they will come in and see the map that you see here. And you can kind of roll around it. You're not going to be able to change the data. You can't go back and, change this data here if you want to look at something else.
Good, because they'll screw it up.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we did it that way. So that it's dynamic, they can kind of see it, things sort of zoom in and zoom out, but they're not going to be able to
Yeah,
manipulate the data.
that's huge. I mean,
Yeah.
just for presentation purposes alone.
Yeah, yeah.
the wow factor on that is real. That's cool.
Yeah, because it has, it's animated, it's dynamic. You can like look at it, move around.
Yeah.
The pop-ups, if if they come over and they look at the housing, the pop-ups will show that kind of stuff. So they can sort of see things like that. They'll see that opportunity zones lined out, so all of that'll be available. It's just they're not going to be able to manipulate the data.
Sure. Okay.
So in addition to, so you're interested in the consumer expenditures. Let's run that report. Let's get a look at that. So we can, again, you just click it. In this case, I'm not going to do an upward comparison. We'll just create a report on the expenditures.
And then what is the market? What was that? Market something?
Market
report?
profiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you that one too. So this
Amazing.
gives you the consumer expenditure. Again, you're looking at your 5 and 15 mile radius. That's what you're analyzing.
Mhm.
And you're seeing the consumer expenditures. This is the summary of all the variables, but then there's a little bit like so you're looking at food, but then there's a drill down on food at home, away from home, how food is being spent, housing. So you get your summary up top.
Yeah.
Of the categories, and then there's a drill down of each of those categories. And same applies as everything else: Excel, CSV, PDF, shared data dictionary. You can save this as well. So yeah, the same applies, the same of the reports. Let's look at the market profile indices. And in this case, I'm going to compare that to the city. And this will also open up into another window. And now you're going to get, these are based, and then you can look at the data dictionary will give you the documentation on these scales. This is let's see, yeah, you can just click on it and it will give you, more information on where this data is coming from. This is from market profile data. This is a part we partnered with Easy Analytics to give us these market profile data. This is like what they do. And this gives us a sense of where what within these market profile indices, within that geography, and in a comparison to your upward geography of your city, where they fall on the market profile. You've got crime, earthquake. These are just sort of general, and also the consumer price index.
So this is market profile data. I
Yeah.
know we're recording, but I'm writing this down.
No, please. Our market profile data, which is part of our, robust data, comes through a partnership with Easy Analytics. That's EASI, and this is what they do. They analyze the market indices in all over the country and have it annotated to geography. So,
and if you click into one of those, like I have no idea what the hell the amusement index would be. I'm not amused in Bossier very often.
well, it's like, yeah. What is the? Let me see if I can get the details. This is the amusement
Survey
index.
Data set.
And
Very
again, and their data. Yeah, this comes, so you can see, where the survey is, what the data details are. And in our data dictionary, I can send you also like more information on Easy Analytics too, because they, and it gives you sort of, I can't remember what, because if it's 300, I think it's up to 300, depends on what the scale, what the, where these fall on the scale. So you can become familiar with, what that index means.
Okay, very cool.
And it also shows you these, it's giving you 3 geographies, the tables. Now that's on how it's printing out. And again, same situation. This can be shared just as the others and save these reports. So retail sales of the area, let's look at that one. And again, this is giving you more, you're looking at the 5 and 15 minute drive times. And this is just the retail sales by sector. So, and these are based on the NAICS codes. of
Mhm.
retail sectors. So you've got food, non-store, general merchandise, these variables, and where they fall, what their retail sales are, and what percentage of retail spending in that area this is. Like, this is like clearly motor vehicle sales are the
Area.
highest in that
Right.
area.
Interesting.
So you can also see, and the housing starts, again, in this case, you'll get a little bit, basically, this is going to give you the information on these bubbles so that you can see, and this gets downloaded just directly into an Excel file. So if you look at this is going to tell you the construction projects in that 15, this is in the 15-minute drive time, the type of projects they are, the square footage, you get a descriptor, it's like a new construction on something for like a residential development. Sometimes they're multi-purpose developments. Those details will be in this column. You get cost approximations, what stage it's in. Is it in pre-construction, conceptual? Has it been awarded? It's in the design phase. And then the building use this is an elderly care. This is a residential subdivision. This one is clearly multi, it's got parking lot, fitness, recs, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Gives you the location, the square footage, what county they're in, and
But-
contact information on the owners or developers when available.
Now, so housing starts include things like, if you scroll over there, it includes right there, wait. Parking lot, fitness, rec centers, clubhouses, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I wonder if there's a way to pull data on estimated cost for multi-purpose facilities, for example. It's not a housing start per se, but
Like this one, that's a multi-purpose.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
built,
something like
it's set, so you could compare these projections that are based in these, definitely,
Okay.
so you're looking at that item, these two are definitely multi-purpose. You can sort of get a sense of that, yes. And here's a multi-residential, that's different, but this is, you can look at the description, it'll tell you this one's got, hotel, motel, rec center, parking lot. This is looking at doing, retail. So that gives you a sense in your area of something that's coming in.
Okay. Gosh, what else? People on the call who have been very quiet. Go
I
ahead,
think
Ramona.
it says a
No.
lot of good stuff, especially on the demographic data and the retail sales. I think we'll be able to use a lot of that.
Huge, especially if you could show trend data, right?
Right, yeah.
We're losing people in the area, but incomes are going up. The sales in certain sectors, here's what that breakdown is. That would be huge.
Let me show you one other feature that may also be of use. And on this left, this is where you can create these reports. So you've got a number of those that gives you some pretty in-depth data. I hit cancel and then minimize.
Okay.
And then I come over here and I open this menu again. So we were at create reports. Now we're at get insights. Now this is going to give you another viewpoint, so you're also going to have the demography, but let's look at retail opportunity, because that's where we're getting the retail sale, a deeper analysis on that. And this is by NAICS code. So this opens up another panel over here on the right. And it's again telling you your address. You're looking at a 5 and 15-minute drive time. This is the number of businesses and employees in 5 minutes. You can toggle between 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Now, you can go through this. It will give you the top 5 retail opportunities in the area based on the sales. And you can also look at the leakage factor, which is the difference between the sales and the businesses that are addressing that. So you can.
Wait, could you say that again?
So you're looking at the leakage factor. So it's like if they're spending, if so much money is being spent in an area, and yet there's like only 2 places that actually address that's there's 10 stores that sell ice cream and the sales of the ice cream are not that large, then that's not a good opportunity. But if where there's a lot of money being spent on, say, cars, and there's only one dealership, that's an opportunity. So it gives you the sense of like the difference between the money that's being spent and the money that's the potential sales for the area based on the demography of where people are, or the consumer, what people are spending their money on, and the opportunity to spend it there.
Okay, so a leakage factor, if I'm looking for opportunities, a high or low leakage factor is what we're looking for.
You want a high retail gap, and
Right,
low
And
leakage
low leakage
factors.
factor.
So,
So all we got to do, guys, is open up a warehouse superstore.
yeah, clearly, those often end up in the top 5, and cars, of course.
That's
Now,
all.
Right.
simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So another thing you can do, this little box up here on the right, this allows me to open that panel up into its own page, which is what I prefer. So you're looking at the retail opportunity. These are the number of businesses, the number of employees. This is giving you the leakage factor, the retail gap. You can click onto that and drill down further. You can see, this is the retail potential. This is the potential sales in the area. This is how many sales are made in the area. So that is an opportunity. This is the retail potential. These are the sales. This is a little lower opportunity. That's in the 15-minute drive, 5-minute drive.
Gotcha. Okay.
So let me just go back. Yeah, let me go back to this. So it just shows you sort of numerically, these are the retail, and I think the scale, I think this tops at 100. I think 100 is the top on this scale. So you're going to look at the gap, you look at the leakage factor. So the leakage factor is telling you this is the gap in what sales are. And again, you're going to find your NAICS code. So you know exactly if you want to drill down into that. Now, suppose you're looking for something that's not in these top 5, you can go over here and focus on another sector, and you get a list of the NAICS. And food services, accommodation, non-store, whatever the retail opportunity that falls under the NAICS, you can look at the subgroup and the sectors under that.
Does anyone know in this group what the NAICS code for equine anything is? I mean, it's such a weird
That would
thing.
probably be under amusement, I would assume. Let me see here if there's miscellaneous general stores.
I just sent it in the group or in the chat.
112920. Wow, check you out, William.
Cool. Now that's a good search by NAICS code. Let's look. What's the number?
112920.
No results. So clearly that's not in there.
I'm not surprised by that.
Okay. And that's
We're looking
also
for something really specific.
But that kind of information is good for us too, because I'm always sending info back to dev data and to find out if in fact it's accessible. It's just not in the pre-printed reports.
Yeah.
So I'll find that out.
Also, consultants on the call, in IBIS world, we should be able to get industry reports. And I threw some of them on the Moodle page, by the way, but you could probably do a grouping of NAICS codes, because it's not going to be just one thing, right? Go-kart racing and rodeos are 2 very different things that could happen in the same facility. You see what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's why we had a search for NAICS, but I will check into how robust that, because I mean, it's pretty serious, a lot of NAICS codes. So I'll find out if there's a possibility. I doubt, I mean, other than that search of just searching and creating,
Right.
because what you could conceivably do is build your own report, but this is a profile. So this is the difference between a report and a profile. This
Gotcha.
is a profile. And you can also click on demography. You'll get essentially the same information that you're getting in the demographic report, but this will show it in a graphic representation. And this is good for reports or presentations. You can sort of show, you know, household income in the area, travel time to work, you know, vacancy rates, that sort of stuff. So that gives you a graphic. That's part of this. That's why this is really not the same as a report. These are profiles. It's giving you a profile of the area, both on demography and the retail opportunity, which is what we find most often needed by our professionals.
Mhm.
So that is, and again, you can save this. Let's see. Back to the report. So when you're in this panel, you can save this. So again, and it's going to give you the address. So that one's a blessing. You can just like, it's right there. You
Mhm.
click save. Then you go over here to the logo and you go into my projects and get rid of that annoying thing. And then you go over to profiles and there is your profile report. And you can, it's still interactive. You can say this. Also, you can download this report. There are two PDFs that we've developed. One is a more comprehensive. This one's a lot more comprehensive. It has all the you know, the groups and the subgroups. This makes a really nice addition to any kind of, you know, market summary report. Market analysis. You've got, this is a retail opportunity profile report. It's got a table of contents. And it basically shows, you know, all of the,
Yeah.
everything and the subgroups. The other one is tabular. So it's a little quicker. You can just kind of look at it and sort of see in a tabular format, you know, the different sectors and where they fall. So you can sort of see the opportunity of these a little, and it's just, this is more a condensed version. That's all. It's basically the same information. So those are all the different ways that you can manipulate, save, and share the data. And the use cases pretty much primarily are, here's my address, you know, I want to run these reports. I want to look at the retail opportunities in the area. So those are the two primary use cases. There's one more use case. If I hate to overload you with so much information, but
Well, that's funny you say that because I'm loving all of this, but I'm going to go back and try to do some of it and not remember anything. So I'm glad that this is being recorded. But when we get stuck, are we kind of on our own, banging our head against the wall, or how do we get help?
no, absolutely. So yes, that's why we record these, mainly because it's a lot of information. It's really easy once you get into it, but you know, it's a familiarity issue.
Absolutely.
And then you get into it, you if you run into questions, oftentimes you can copy me on your emails to Jeff. And I can create a short video sometimes and just say, oh, this is where you find that thing, you know.
Gotcha.
Or if you have a specific question on data, if I don't know it, I know who to go to get the information on, like, you know, where does that data come from, or how often is it updated, that kind of thing. And
Okay.
then, or we can set up another call like this, and we can do another training on a specific topic that you have in mind. The one other feature that we have is filter area by criteria. And that's where you just literally, like, you drop a pin and say, I want to look at areas where I want to filter out, you know, incoming population is growing by 5% and employment is growing by 3%. Like, where is that? And it'll filter on the map. It'll show you where those areas are highlighted that meet your criteria, and then you drop a pin and you can essentially just run these same reports on that area. So the difference is, I know an area, I know an address, and I want to know about it. The other one is, I don't know where, but I know what I want.
Gotcha. Amazing. I don't suppose, I'm assuming this is US or North America data only though, right?
We do have data across the world, but it predominantly is US data.
Yeah, of course. Cool beans. Well, I'm blown away. This is really, really good stuff. Anybody else have any last questions, comments, or whatever? I know we're bumping up on the hour mark already.
I'm really excited to use this.
Sweet.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
I mean, the capstone, I mean, the ways this can be used, I mean, we have a specific need for it, but man, just exploratory stuff and starting businesses and other consulting projects, man, this is good stuff.
That's great feedback.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah,
another thing.
It's all good, right?
We're always
That's terrific.
interested in your feedback. That's important to us too. So it's like, if, again, if there's a piece of data or there's something that you're looking for, we are in direct communication with dev data, and that to make sure that, consistent improvements are being made that are addressing what you're really interested in. So
Right. And
we love your feedback.
the consultants on the call know that I'm not shy. So as we work through things and have questions, we're happy to provide feedback, or like the NAICS code not
Mhm.
being in there. I'm not surprised because it's such a weird one. But little stuff like that, or
Yeah.
suggestions. This is great. I'm looking forward to exploring.
And just to let you know, it's sort of built on a backbone of a product called Social Explorer that's been around for 15 years.
Mhm.
That was and still is a product for the social sciences, demographic data. Now, we started to integrate health data and crime data into it, and then some business data, and this is an extension of that. And so we've been around a long time with products like this. And so this is new for us moving into the business area. And so any feedback we can get from you as you use it, I'll be reaching out, because our goal is to get you using this
Right.
at a very reasonable price eventually, right? So that you can help us as well in terms of us learning how you use it.
Absolutely. And not related to this call, but do you have use cases for academic researchers? Because I'm looking through some of just as we were flipping through, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have regional expenditures on drugs and healthcare things. Oh my gosh, if we do
Yes,
this with these other variables and compared to
yeah.
NSAs, now I'm thinking, journal articles, not just
Yes,
consulting projects. Okay, cool.
we have use cases mostly in the social sciences with our other product, but we will be developing them here as well.
Okay. Well, I mean, finance and economics people are social
Yes.
scientists with very
Yes.
low social skills.
Yes.
So we're doing similar research, just looking at the numbers, not necessarily the squishier stuff. Anyway, thank you very much. If
Thank
any
you.
other,
Reach out anytime.
yeah, we will. We're going to look forward to doing this, and appreciate all the help.
Yeah, great. Let me know how your summer goes with it.
Will do. Thanks so
And all
much.
your students have access, and if you added a student and they don't have it, let me know. We'll get them set up.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
All right, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you for spending
Thank
the
you,
hour with
guys.
us.
Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
Bye
you.
now.
Bye.